I said, you know what, Doc? He goes, yeah, you missed your appointment yesterday. I said, yeah, I'm not getting into this with you, but you've never called this phone in 4 years of treating me to see how I'm doing. You're missing my $250 right now, and I'm too weak to get into this with you. I stopped cold turkey 14 mornings ago, and he immediately, oh, you cannot do that. You can have seizures. 0.04% of people can do it the way you're doing it, and you're not going to be one of those. I said, well, you can take my name out of your ledger. You're never going to see me again. Little does he know, night 5 in my bed is where I encountered our guy.
The 19-year-old from Bradford, Pennsylvania lost an incredible 470 pounds.
When I gave my heart to Jesus and surrendered over, there was a peace. From 799 pounds to 600 pounds down, this isn't just weight loss. This is a podcast to rebuilding your spirit, your mind, and your life. Welcome to the 600 Pounds Down podcast with me, Coach Justin. I'm not sorry to interrupt this regularly scheduled programming on my podcast, but I'm the guy here, so I can do that. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast here with Chad Hayden. Hey, I want to inform you of 600 Pounds Down coaching. This is a legit coaching opportunity for you to use the same methods, same concepts that I used to shed 600 pounds. This is for you who want to lose 50, 60, 70 to 150 or more pounds finally off the frame of your body so you can thrive in life. We do this by resetting the neural pathways in your brain. We do this by becoming healthier people in mind, body, and spirit. We start to implement strategies. There's a lot of them you can sequence together to make it the optimal fat burning opportunity while you gain muscle at the same time. I'm going to give you my full program with 600 Pounds Down coaching to help you lose the fat you want to lose and gain the life you want to gain. Guys, if you're interested, please email me onestepnation@gmail.com, onestepnation@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube and reach out. I am here to help you, I'm here to coach you, and I'm here to give you the new life that you're looking for. Hey, if you're praying for change, God answers prayer. I'm here to help you with that. All right, now back to our show. Welcome everybody to the 600 Pounds Down podcast. I'm Coach Justin. I'm here with my friend Chad Hayden, and I've known Chad for quite a while. Both of us were from Bradford, Pennsylvania for a little bit there, and I moved to Texas, but before I moved away, I got to know him a little bit, got to see his story, got to see what God was doing in his life, and of course, just his journey. And I remember you grinding it out the YMCA in the morning, doing your thing and all the stuff. I'm looking forward to having my audience hear your story because I truly believe that our recovery stories, our success stories, will make an impact in somebody's life one way or another. And that's what we're here to do today. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chad Hayden. Chad, welcome to the 600 Pounds Down podcast. Give us some of your background. Why are you here today, bro?
You know, I do know why I'm here now, and we'll cover that as this unfolds. You know, typical good kid from a good household. My parents did get divorced when I was in 5th grade. I was just a little older than my sister, so I think I handled it a little better during that time frame. And, you know, life has just, it's always been kind of easy for me. I haven't really had to work hard. I could always figure out the room type of thing. You know, I started a business at 19, went to nursing school in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. Fast forward a couple years, I go into the car salesman and I get introduced to a Vicodin. 6 years into that, in no pain, I'm taking 20 of these, eating them 10 at a time, twice a day.
Vicodin.
Yep, opiate.
Man, 20, like literally 20 a day as you go.
20,000 milligrams a day. Heart stopping in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping. That didn't stop me. My mom would ask me, you know, what, they didn't understand any of this. This is kind of post their generation, you know, and you can hide it really, really well. You don't smell, you don't stumble, your eyes aren't bad. You're just numb. She would say, well, what's it like? And I'd say, well, if my house was burning down and you called me and told me, I'd be like, oh, okay. Or if I won $1 million scratch off ticket, which I don't play, but I'd be like, oh, okay, just that level, and not looking back now. Obviously, I've been clean 10 years and 3 months from that. 6 years into that, my wife grabs me by the ear mowing the yard. She'd been hiding my pills. I'd flip the house upside down, just putting her through nothing that I would have tolerated, or most people on the planet, which is ultimate credit to her. I don't know forgiveness and tolerance like that. So anyway, she finds a doctor out of town that's got this new miracle drug getting people like me off of 20 Vicodin today called Suboxone. Worst drug I've ever seen in my life. I got worse. 2 years into that, I was working good. I wasn't hiding money. I wasn't being what I just like to say, a piece of crap. It did work for a minute. But then the second 2 years, I found myself back on the street, $1,500 a month, a much more expensive drug to buy on the street. It lasts, the half life of one of those, of a Vicodin, is 4 hours. So that's why they say one every 4 hours. Well, Suboxone is 32 hours. So one of these can get you about through 2 full days. Well, I was taking the max of that, 20 milligrams, and I met with Pastor McAvoy. The state started to step into these legal drug dealers who won't accept insurance but will accept $250 cash from you every time, and they're allowed to see 100 Chad Haydens every 30 days pulling in their Mercedes and their Dually Denali's, and it's disgusting. So met with McAvoy. I had to be counseled for a half an hour each month before I could go get my dope from the legal dope guy. And McAvoy just says, he puts the mirror right in front of you. And I don't know if he's ever done it to you, but if he did, you can still remember the taste of it. He didn't know, he was never an addict or an alcoholic, but he's very well versed in it because he'd been around it. And he said, people don't change unless they want to change. If not today, when? I was 38. I'm like, geez, well, will you sign this that you counseled me? I'm not signing anything, and I'm like, oh, this just
You wanted
completely
to slash his
backfired.
tires on him, didn't you? You wanted to
Oh
slash.
gosh, I wanted to punch him right across the table. So I had to go find another facet. I don't even remember what I did. I don't have time to think about that, but I got my dope for another 5 months, but it took 5 months of that seed that he planted, and it bothered me. It was in there, and I started weighing this thing, and we don't think that our spouses and our children will leave us, and our friends. Guess what? They will. Because I would have been gone a long time ago. But God gave me this vision, and I didn't know him yet. I was a pew warmer, taking my 3 children and my wife, hoping that maybe they got a chance with this guy,
Absolutely.
because I'm I'm never getting better,
Let's pause there, Chad. Let's pause there. Because I want to hear the rest of your story, but I want to break down how serious the issue was before we talk about the recovery process. I do want to talk about a few things that you said. Number one, first off, I want to just give a shout out to Mike McAvoy, Pastor Mike McAvoy. Really spoke into a lot of people's lives, and his legacy in Bradford, Pennsylvania will live on. And, he's doing his own thing now somewhere else, but I'll tell you what, he's impacted a lot of lives, and he deserves the flowers and roses for that. He'll never receive them because he knows it's all about Jesus and what Jesus did in his life, and he'll always give the credit to the Lord. I love that about him, so I do want to give a shout out to him. He's helped so many people, myself included. But we'll get into that in a minute, about what he would do with you, and of course that process of helping you recover. I know he's part of that story as well. But I want to just take you back. What got you? I know you said somebody gave you a pill, but what sparked your interest to start this process of this drug?
That was it. 4 days in, a week in, I was bumming one from this guy every day. Well, then, a month or two in, I'm at 3 a day. The slope is straight up and down, and it's covered in jelly. I go to the doctor once this guy's tired of me bugging him. I'm addicted at this point. Just not full, but it's growing really rapidly. So I go to the doctor what does this doctor say to me? Why, no problem. I said, yeah, I got a stiff neck, blah, blah, blah. You're talking
Did you have a
20
stiff
years
neck?
ago when no, this epidemic was just starting right about then, this 20 years ago. The 20 years prior to that of this over, the Sackler family and Dope Sick and these Netflix series, when you watch them and you're in my position today, you're upset. You're mad. And when I go minister or speak at rehab facilities, I share that some of this isn't your fault. We were lied to. But now that you do know that, this next step is your responsibility. So anyway, 6 years in, the last 8 months of this journey, this nightmare, I'm at 20 a day, which is, and one more than that a day would have put me to killed me in my
And
sleep.
that was just
So I
Vicodin?
pushed it. Yeah. In the middle of that, I guess I did maybe a 6 month spell with some Oxycontin, that someone had where I was working, and that is some high octane ether. And I left that job to come home and dry out, thinking that I'm good. Little did I know that Oxycontin took me from 10 a day to 20 a day, just like that.
I'm
So
looking at this and it blows my mind because, I mean, like you were saying, this is something that is not like alcohol. You can't smell it on your breath. There are no signs of like you're not leaving residue on you. You're not leaving your trails behind. It's simply a bottle or it's just something to put it in. You can hide that anywhere, anytime, and it's so easy to do that now. When you do that, like, were you living in paranoia at all as you were kind of going around, or were you just like, nobody's gonna catch me, nobody's gonna know?
no, not at that point. That the Vicodin didn't do that to me. So she grabs me by the ear and she says, "We're not going to watch you kill yourself. I found a doctor out of town that's got this miracle drug, Suboxone.
Yep.
Worst drug I've ever seen in my life.
Why do you say
I
that?
mean, if you're on it, it's a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. But
Mhm.
I'll get into that.
Okay.
So, like I said, the half life of a Vicodin is 4 hours. A half life of a Suboxone, which is man-made synthetic heroin. Why they're giving it to me, I have no idea. Now they're handing it out as a pain reliever. The last couple years, it's like, oh gosh, it's none of those things. So yeah, my expense on the street doubled. Um, yeah, very, very, very bad drug. So anyway, meet McAvoy, and I'm 4 years, 3.5 years in on just Suboxone at this point, no alcohol. Maybe a beer here or there. My friends and my wife would actually be like, I'd be so weirded out and in my own head from this drug. I could only go to a function, a family or friendly function for half hour to an hour, and I wanted to be out of there. I was already feeling really good, and that's another podcast. That drug, that's a whole nother thing. Uh,
I want to,
so
Chad, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to know the seriousness of this whole thing. Like, tell me about this because what's the process of recovery? So you're going on, what's the drug called? Suboxone? Suboxone, okay. And that takes place of the other
just Vicodin and
Vicodin, that's what it
heroin.
is. Vicodin and heroin. So you're going on this because the doctor's prescribing this, giving it to you, but you had to meet with a pastor or somebody to counsel you on not ODing, or tell me why you had to sit with somebody and do that.
Some legal thing to make the pencil pushers feel better about themselves. That's it.
Okay, so it's a
That's it.
process of
Because
like
it's
a
yeah,
state thing to get you through this whole thing. Okay, I get you.
BS. BS.
Okay.
So those rattle in my brain, and I do this weighing in my shop, and I get a vision from God that my wife's going to end up raising my children. Now they're 10, 12, and 13 at this point. They haven't really seen anything because you're so good. You're a master hider when you're a drug addict and alcohol, not maybe an alcoholic, but a drug addict. And he gave me this vision that she would be living with another man and raising my children, and I'd still be a pretty darn good dad. I've coached them from 4 years old until they walked out of high school, and everything that I did do that part very, very well. And I'm so thankful to God that He allowed me to do that because That was about the only thing I did right. And I had one Suboxone left one day, March or April 7th. So April 8th is my first morning I wake up with not consuming anything. 5 days in, a friend of mine calls me. Well, actually, I call a friend of mine who's about 55 at the time, and I tell him what I'm doing. I'm not going to tell anyone. He said, I think you should really tell a couple people around you what you're doing, just so they know what you're doing. And I'm like, at this point in my life, I'm going to start listening to other people. So I tell my wife, I said, listen, I've tried this a couple times without telling anyone. Here's where I'm at. I'm day 4 or 5 in. If I help you with laundry or house chores, great. Don't ask me to, because I'm going to go into some waters here that are going to be really, really rough. So day 5, my friend calls me, who we'd been sharing these with and going to the doctor with at the same time of the month, and passing back and forth. And he's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, dude, I've honestly 5 days in, I'm great. And he's like, he was a little more educated about it. He said, yeah, I don't think it's even started yet.
Man,
Sure as all get out, I hang up the phone and it comes rolling in. It
just
it
like
leaves
that.
you. Suboxone leaves your heavy, dense bone areas first. It's molecularly created differently than a Vicodin. So my hips and knees and elbows, from night 5 till night 15, tremors, pouring out sweat, not really eating. I'd be able to work an hour or two and be completely out of gas. It's like running your cell phone battery down to 1% just so that you can live. And then on your way back out, you get 1% back every day. It is a slow, patient 52-day process, and frankly, it took a full year till I felt really, really good. It's very damaging. It
But
um,
you
Vicodin.
stopped you stopped like cold turkey though.
I stopped cold turkey. So doctor calls my phone 14 days in, has never called me. I'm with family friends. They're driving me to watch my son do districts down in Brookville. I'm so exhausted, day 14 still. I could barely get to the car, but I wasn't going to miss it. I put it on speakerphone so they knew how transparent that I was being, because they were giving me tea. You've probably had it, you fruit, you health nut. Tasted like someone emptied a lawnmower bag into a bottle of water. It was terrible. Did it help? I don't know. I was willing to try anything, but that's what it licking the bottom of a lawnmower. So I said, you know what, Doc? He goes, yeah, you missed your appointment yesterday. I said, yeah, I'm not getting into this with you, but you've never called this phone in 4 years of treating me to see how I'm doing. You're missing my $250 right now, and I'm too weak to get into this with you. I stopped cold turkey 14 mornings ago, and he immediately, oh, you cannot do that. You can have seizures. 0.04% of people can do it the way you're doing it, and you're not going to be one of those.
Really?
I said, well, you can take my name out of your ledger. You're never going to see me again. Little does he know, night 5 in my bed is where I encountered our guy,
Let's
right?
talk about that. So I want to paint the. Let's preface this. You are addicted to what is it? Vicodin, and then get off that, and you went on Suboxone, and then you went cold turkey. And the truth is, doctors are prescribing this, and hey, we got to fix this guy. We got to fix. Well, it's not fixing him. He's staying the same, and he's not healing. He's still involved with this drug, and therefore, people are experiencing Chad Hayden in a way that he's never supposed to be experienced, less than God's best, not living a full and satisfying life, and his family has to watch him slowly kill himself on drugs. Now, this is what?
5.
5 days. 5 days, and now you had an experience with Jesus, and I want to hear about that. Like, what did that experience look like to you?
So that was the start of I believe climbing the mountain, and I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, the restless legs and I didn't sleep that night anyway till I don't know what time this happened, but I could see Jesus and the devil fighting in my forearms, and I could feel, and I've never told this other to one other person, but I could see red blood in my pupils, and I could feel thorns in my head. I could feel whips in my ribs. It was so surreal, which is why I'm at where I'm at today, because I can't deny that. Um, to me, it was real. To anyone else, it probably sounds insane, but it's got me to here. So I just hear this. I got this sleep. And that was it. And I got maybe 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hour. I don't know. Because you don't sleep during this process. It comes in little moments. You're taking some vitamin B and eating some bananas and drinking some water and taking really hot baths. I would come home at noon or 10 a.m. or 1, and fill the bathtub with scalding hot water, no cold, and lay in it for hours to feel better. So that was that night, and I knew I was good because I heard it. I heard the whisper. I got this. So the next 10 nights, like I said, 5 through 15, was that every night, just getting this. The poison was gone on day 5. It takes 5 days for this stuff to leave you. So I'm there just vulnerable and naked. I'm just like, God, kill me or save me.
Wow.
I don't know what else to do. Nothing down here is working, and I'm okay with either verdict from your gavel. And here we are.
You're always going to have a skeptic, and here's the thing. You know your story, you know what happened to you, and skeptics will say, "Oh, that was just the drugs, that was just this." And I think here's the thing. I've been listening to other people who have come off of really harsh drugs, and they ended up, having these experiences. I really believe that substances, they tend to open up the door to the spiritual world. There's something that happens because we have, if you want to call it a veil or whatever, over our lives, and we can't see beyond what we can see in the physical most of the time, unless you're somebody who's blessed and God allows that to happen. But normally we don't. But when people who are coming off drugs or on drugs of any sort, there tends to be this like veil release where God or the devil will open that door for, like, maybe the Lord talks to you, or maybe the devil comes in and tries to scare you more and holds you in fear. Like, I've heard that. So my opinion on that would be, you know what you saw. You know what you experienced. And the truth is, the Lord was glorified through it because you have a positive testimony out of that. It did not contradict Scripture. It did not contradict His character. And that's one way you can tell. If it contradicts who He says He is, and if it contradicts the Bible, if it contradicts God's character, then it's not from the Lord. But this ended up catapulting you into the right direction, which gives me the assurance of saying, I feel like the Lord spoke to you that night, and your headspace and your mind and your brain was in a place to actually receive it. And you needed it at that point. You needed recovery.
So two and a half years in, I have the track shoes back on because that's all I've ever done is run and wrestle. I get a rare birth defect in my left hip, along with my son who's in junior in high school. We both go. He can't finish a 5K, and I'm that jerk dad screaming at him like, "Really? You're the one coming out on a four-wheeler every race with .2 to go?" I mean, I wasn't very nice, but he's like, "Dad, my hip won't rotate." So we both go, both get MRIs. She comes in. I'm like, "Me?" Because I couldn't walk. Both of you. Fast forward. They go in and put 4 pins in, try to save mine. Same thing with him, 1 pin. 31 months into this, I can't walk. I have to have an emergency full hip replacement on the same side. Both surgeries, zero opiate. Looked at the doctor and used words that you don't want me to use on here. And he's like, "Well, your insurance already paid for them. You have to leave with these." And my wife's like, we're not leaving with them. Where's your garbage can? We end up bringing them right to the police station and dropping them all off. And my son, same thing. The what has happened to me is going to resonate with my children for generations. The awareness of this stuff, because I know they're going to make their kids be athletes. because that's just who they are and why they're so successful today and why they're gritty and don't take any BS. But it's so important. It was like my son's like, Dad, I want 3 of those. I want one today, half of one the next 3 days. On the 4th or 5th day, he's like, just give me a ibuprofen. I'm good. And I'm like, man,
Mm.
this is, and I'm still early. I'm still a baby, 2 or 3 years in, but I know that I'm good. And then my daughter gets cancer at 13, 3 years in. And I just got thinking when that landed on our lap, which was a nightmare, and I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. We were strong enough to handle that. God came and cleaned up my backyard knowing that was coming, and I took it as an attack from the enemy, that I was out there taunting the enemy, that he attacks my baby. But anyway, I got to be a spiritual leader during that time frame, because I would have been divorced. I would have missed her appointments for chemo. I would not have been where I was at. And so when I go speak, I tell these young people, I'm allowed to have all this stuff that you're in here for. Guess what? I don't take it.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's dangerous. When you don't use these things, rest, ice, compression, and elevation work. This
Yeah.
bull crap that we've been told that we're not allowed to be in any kind of pain
Yeah.
is nonsense.
I think
It's
I
nonsense.
think there's a time and place maybe for things, and I'll never. You have a strong opinion on it, and rightfully so, right? Like these things have nearly took your life, right? The devil used this as a hey, let's numb the pain, let's numb who you are, let's change, like just to draw you into really a side that you should never have been. But the good news is God reaches into those moments with people and he says, I see you. He allows us to walk through those moments, which blows my mind that he loves us that much to allow us to walk through hard times and have his free will, right? And then from that point, like you had a choice to make eventually where, hey, he was drawing you close, man. He was planting seeds through McAvoy. He was planting seeds to other people. Prayers are being called out for you to the Lord. And then your life begins a recovery process that wasn't easy. And I think a lot of people, they don't want the hard. And so what's the point of changing if it's difficult? It's uncomfortable. But you went through the hard. Man, I will go out and say your experience sounded like you're living a little bit of hell on earth for that moment. It sounded like
Oh, yeah.
miserable, which most people, they'd revert back to what they knew was comfortable, right? And I just commend you for that. That is a big deal. Now, I love that you're taking your story and you're throughout your recovery process, even your daughter getting cancer, man, that's a huge deal. Very emotional. That takes a lot out of you. And boy, wouldn't it be nice to numb myself right now because I can't believe this is happening. As your recovery was happening, did you ever have those urges to, what if I went back? You ever thought of those things?
Nope. I knew once I got that drug out of me, I was never. And I don't think it was McAvoy if he was still here yet, but someone in my life was like, it's biblical that you put your hand near that candle and you got burned. Guess what? You're not going to put your hand near that flame again. You've learned your lesson.
That's good.
It hurt so bad coming off of it that way. And really, that's the only way. There's no magical way to come off of that stuff. They have this BS, they taper you off. Guess what? We tried that. They bumped me in half. I was home in the cookie jar that afternoon for the rest of my dose. Immediately knew that's bull crap. That's not going to work.
I was going to ask
So
about
that
that. I was
was
going to say if they microdosed you or they help wean you off. Like, no, it doesn't work like that for you, huh?
doesn't work like that for anyone. I
Okay.
haven't met anyone that works for. That could work if you have me in a cell and every day you bring me the micro dose and I don't get to do anything else. Yeah, then it'll work. But if you have free will and a cell phone,
That's
no,
insane.
no,
Well,
no, nonsense.
that's addiction, right? That's addiction. Now, I want to hear about your life now. Now, your daughter's recovered from cancer. Now, is she in remission or is she cancer free? Tell me more about where she's at.
7 years, yeah,
7 years.
cancer free.
Okay, beautiful. And I bet you that was a celebration of all celebrations.
Every year.
How's she doing? Is she like thriving?
Yeah, she's awesome. She's just getting ready to finish her 4th year at Pitt and started her own house cleaning business and counts her pennies, and she's gonna be fine.
That's awesome. Good.
She was jumping off her roofs halfway through her treatments, and the hospital called. They're like, "Hey, her blood work was terrible. Prepare to come up for a blood transfusion. Where is she? How's she doing?" I said, "She's in the woods on her 4-wheeler, jumping into a pond. I don't even know where she's at." And they were blown away because their science said she should be home, zero energy, waiting to get up here. They're like, it's very rare that someone gets to function with that low of red blood cell count. Keep us posted. And yeah, she did very well through all of
There
it.
was a
And
lot of prayer for her, by the way. I remember the prayer requests
oh
coming
yeah,
through. Like, I do believe the Lord supernaturally assists people along the way that science cannot explain. It's just, it's real. And you wouldn't understand it unless you've experienced it or unless you know
yeah.
who Jesus is, right? That's the thing. So that's awesome. That's incredible to hear. Now, today, Chad, you are doing your thing. Now, what does recovery look like for you today when it comes to sharing your story, or like where do you take your pain or your pain points from the past, I should say, and what do you do with them today? Like, how is Chad giving back and healing himself through the process?
I feel like I'm healed. God gave me this large building recently that I dreamed about, and that my wife and I've worked so hard that we didn't think we'd ever see something like this. And as soon as he gave me the keys, Feldman's on me. Our friend, he's telling me that he wants more from you, and I don't know what that is for you, but. And I'm like, I got an idea, because I took a little break from intervening in people's lives because they just they weren't doing it. So, and during this 10 years, I've celebrated knocking off this big thing with alcohol, in small amounts, no amounts. And I really wasn't feeling the rub from our guy. It's not ruining my life. It's with my wife. None of it's hidden. Um, I'm training harder than ever, yada, yada, yada. And Memorial Day weekend this year, 80 days ago, I drank for 4 days with my friends and my wife and my kids. And that's just what we do. In fact, they actually don't even drink. My wife and my kids, my daughter doesn't drink. And if the boys do, it's very little. I found myself being the only one doing it. And
Yeah.
I felt lousy. My grandchildren are on the floor of my camper. It's pouring down rain, and I'm like, oh, I don't want this anymore. I am tired of this. And God took it from me, and I knew immediately what was going to happen, because when we empty that room, right, the enemy wants to fill that room in the house with something typically worse. God said, "No, you're starting a church." And you know what? I didn't even argue with him. I've already been groomed. He's like, "You have enough stories now. You have enough testimony now on all these things." And we were not even going to get into all of these things. I was raised in a very jealous family. To break jealousy, this generational curse, that was harder than anything I've ever had to do, and I've done it. God took that from me about 12 months ago. After a 7 month, I thought my walls were pretty well sealed up. I've been really good. No real attacks. Well, the enemy found a crack, and I had to get the shovel back out, and really get into counsel from Feldman. I'd call him like, "Here's what this is. I feel like I'm good. I've done some work here." And he hit me with some stuff, and all of a sudden I woke up one morning and it was gone. Just gone. So there's always a one, two, a three, and a four, I think, in your life. Maybe it's not drugs and alcohol, but so anyway, today, this Sunday will be our fifth service. I'm reignited. I'm 80 days without alcohol, and don't think it didn't come with cravings. It came, what do I do in these moments that I've always been doing that? That's where the struggle was, Ben. And I was terribly afraid of being the lump on the log in my marriage and the lump on the log in my social circle. Guess what today? I could care less.
Beautiful.
I feel incredible. I sleep incredible. My channels for his data are crystal clear. Eric and I, Eliason, he jumped on board with my church. We do a Bible study at 6 a.m. on Sundays after all the texts all week of what story we're going to tell. And dude, when I do it, I don't write a lot down. And it's him, like you and I talked the other night. I was on fire the other night, and it was awesome service, and I was whipped, and I knew why. It was like the movie Ghost
Yeah.
when Whoopi, when he uses Whoopi. That, you know what I mean? It was like that. It's like that's what happens to me. So this speaker that's coming Sunday, I walked beside him 5 years ago. I know I'm qualified to do this stuff. I have full confidence. He's given me the authority. It's important work. It's the most important work that I'm ever going to do. And now we're full steam ahead. I think we're at 30,000 views. So Eric and I've discussed, if no one shows up to my church, we are still going to proceed because they're watching, and wherever I'm at in town, someone's like, hey, my husband and I are so and so, we watch that every Sunday. It's really good. And I'm like, wow, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Where's this at?
So
Where's the church at?
it's at my shop.
Okay, so that's in Bradford.
Yep.
Okay.
The Lit Path Ministries, and
Lit.
the name is irrelevant. My church is going after the unchurched, the person that's never been to a church, that's never heard about how much Jesus Christ loves us. They've never heard that. They've never had hands laid on them. They've never had complete strangers not judge them and love them. That's all we're there to do. And I'm kind of in your face. I'm a really good mix of the 10 preachers that I've been around my life, mainly a McAvoy. The pastor at Believers is fiery like
John.
that.
Yeah.
And then I take a Josh Haney and a Rob Jeffries, who are more calm. I'm right in the middle of that,
Yeah.
and we're not. We're going to put the mirror in front of us.
Yeah. That's good. No, I love. I want to kind of go into that for a minute. First off, I love what God's doing in your life. I think that's cool, and it's nice to have that like zeal to help other people, especially in the name of Jesus, to do the work of the mission of Jesus Christ. Right? We are to take our stories and reach new followers. That's what we're supposed to do, and the hope that they can have through Him. And I love what you said about the people mentoring you through your life and you becoming what they are. Like I can think of amazing pastors in Bradford there. I think Jeffrey's an amazing guy. Rob Jeffrey's awesome. Josh Haney's awesome. I love Pastor Zoe Hatcher. Like Josh Hatcher. Like he's influenced me in my life as well. Like these are all people. Pastor Sean and Believers Chapel, they all have a part to play, right? McAvoy, we'll go back to him, right? They have all the parts to play. So we wouldn't be who we are today without people mentoring us through. Now I want to talk about that. We have about 10 minutes left here in our time together. I want to hit on that. Would you be who you are today without people in your life speaking into your life and mentoring you?
No, and I've got friends that walked beside me during this. I would text my friend in Jamestown, Darren Hills, solid Christian, day 8, day 9, sends me a card 3 months in. It's so cool today. I can't wait to get pulled over by a cop. I can't wait to go to the next doctor's appointment. My blood pressure is that of a 15-year-old right now. This alcohol. And I have friends asking me, well, when do you think you'll have another one? I'm like, oh, the thought of it disgusts me.
Love that.
It disgusts me. It's not a. It's my life is so good today. Without it, I'm not asking them for number 3 right now. Give me a minute. Do you want my Oreos and my pizza? Because we're gonna argue for 10 more years about that. But it's really strange, this faith thing that I experienced. I jumped in my bed. I leapt. Save me or kill me. Can you do a bigger leap? No. I had only heard that you were going to be there, Jesus. This time with the alcohol, when he said, "Let me have it," I let it go because I knew he was going to be there. I've already experienced it, and I've applied so much of his words and how to communicate with him. I'm really good at that. Like before this thing opens up, I usually just hang on. What should I do? It's usually shut up.
Right.
This thing right here. Whew,
Yeah.
whew, it can cause a lot of problems. But
Chad.
I'm so grateful today to have the people astonished that they're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, he quit drinking. Oh yeah, okay, blah, blah. 80 days in, he's not called. He is different when and you feel bad. In my circle of friends, I almost feel guilty because our conversations are so awkward right now because I am not who I was 81 days ago.
Doesn't that
I've
show you
experienced
that
another level.
that shows you something though? That was like the common ground of discussion point, and now they probably feel a little guilty, like, oh, he stopped, so now what about me? Is he judging me? And I know your heart's never to judge. You're gonna shine your light and say, God will do a work in the heart of somebody who allows him to do a work, right? And people see
Yeah,
that, and it makes them feel guilty. It does, and it's not supposed to, but that's
sure.
called conviction, not condemnation. Conviction, meaning there's a
Rub.
better way, right? Yeah, the
I know
rub.
when they're taking a sip. McAvoy was so good at that chafing, that sandpaper. When do you get tired of that and say, you know what? I don't like that every day. I don't like looking in the mirror. I looked in the mirror before I got off the opiates one last time, and I was like, I couldn't recognize myself. Who is this? Who are you today?
Yeah,
I know exactly who I am
I
and
love
what
that.
what I'm going to do and what my purpose is on this planet from here on out is to not violently, passionately come after and help you give up some things to draw near to him and have this kitchen that smells like apple pie because I walked by those kitchens. I it looked real nice, but I never thought I was going to have it.
Yeah, yeah,
But you have to leave yourself on your bedroom floor every morning. Nope. You don't get anything that you want that this thing wants.
yeah.
Can't have it today. You're dead over there.
That's the dying to
Let's
self
go.
principle. Yeah,
Let's put the Jesus shoes on today and let's get some more of these blessings. I know they're coming today. He's a rewarder. He's not a punisher. So I just sit and wait. What happens on the beach day 24 when I announce I'm starting a church at my shop? A local business offers me $250,000 to lease a portion of it, a small portion. Yesterday I leased another portion of it for $12,000 a year. I got our mortgage paid at our building. That's exactly what he does, and that's
that's
exactly
amazing.
what I knew he was going to do. you
That's
know
amazing.
dude, you don't have enough time for the 7 times that the enemy had to pay me back. It's 20 times. I'm going after more than that. You son of a bitch. I'm coming after more of it.
That's your. I
you
love your zeal. Like I know. So this is when you take something that was what meant for evil, and the Lord turned it around for His good in your life, and you're shining a light, right? You're shining a light. Now, as we're kind of closing here, I do wanna know, like, hey, Chad Hayden has recovered from drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and then God has more. As we continue to deny ourselves and ask the Lord, God, what is it that comes next? And I know we sometimes approach that with hesitancy, but I know as we continue to draw closer to Him, there is this, you want to call it like a refining process in the process of you getting closer to Him and following Him. And like you said, there's something else coming down the line. We all go through that refinement, right? Especially we're trying to draw closer to Him. I
No, I
love.
didn't know that, so I want to stop now, you
Okay.
know?
That's what everybody's going to say, that, right? That's everybody's going to say. But you look at that and you see your life and how God has helped you and pulled you along the way and carried you along the way, and now is helping you become who you were supposed to always be. What does it look like next for you? Like, so you already shared that you started a church. You already shared that you're mentoring people here and there. You're being a representative of truth online and in person. What if the person listening today is thinking like, hey, what can I do to get myself better, and what would you tell them, and what comes next for you? Kind of close out with those types of questions and answers there.
You know, I don't think it's not just grandkids in your life, but that's been important. I want my son's future wives to call me and have me take their child to the doctor. You know, it's that small, and I trip and fall all the time with this hip. God forbid I have a sip of booze in me and I do that and something happens, I'll never be forgiven. So those were the kinds of visions that God was giving me to really stamp this thing home. Like, no, there's no more sip, there's zero. I have a whole new path for you. And those at home, I wish I could come and do this for you. I can't. I can only share with you. I took these leaps and he's right there and it's so good. The power that comes from it is incredible. I don't walk around like with my chest out because McAvoy slapped my hand years ago when I was doing that. He's like, hey, just because you got clean, not everyone comes along for the ride with you either. So calm that down a little bit. They're the rock stars, not you. I mean, that was so great. I'm like, geez, you're just full of this great stuff. You know, it tastes terrible, but it's the truth. You know what, and you know what it is. Yeah, you don't have to ask the person the question. They know. I knew. I know today. Um, Yeah, it's not popular.
Right.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It's not popular to go stand and lay hands on someone in the middle of the street and pray over them. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care because it happened for me, and here's the result. So how do I deny that this by adhering and doing the little things consistently every day for the last 10 years and 3 months got me to here. I'd do it all over again 10 times.
Mm. Wow.
It's so good over here. I call Steve Feldman every morning. I wake him up and I'm like, dude, you were so right. It's so good over here that I'm not jeopardizing that with anything.
Okay.
Nope,
Yeah. Why would
nope.
you want to go back, right? Why would you want to?
I want to I want to serve my family, which during this 10 years I've been a good boy. I've really, that's why I didn't really feel like he was giving me any problems there. He's probably going to let me do that. I started experiencing some small health problems and I could see the edge of the cliff of addiction way over there, and I've been known to sprint towards that. And it was the first time I could see that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to about face right now. I'm going to start walking
Good.
back.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. The bridge
I
is
know
out
who
on
I
the way
am.
ahead. The bridge is out. Like and
Mm,
that's God's grace, right? That's grace on us. Hey, there's still a chance for you to get better, still a chance for you to avoid what's possibly coming for you if you don't start acting in a way that's going to be helpful for you, right? And then
yeah.
I love
My
that.
anxiety's down. My heartburn pill, I quit taking that. Not that I have a little right now, but I'm on a different, it's not prescription now. My sleep is incredible. It comes with a little lack of motivation some days, but we'll figure that out. That's a molehill,
Yeah,
you
of
know.
course. Of course. No, it's a process. Everything's a process. But no, man, I appreciate being on today. I appreciate your story. we're definitely going to be hitting some people in a different target. This is not a weight loss or fat loss podcast episode, but this is I lost who I was so I can become the one I'm supposed to be. I look at it that way, right? It's recovery. It's amazing. And these are stories of hope and stories that only the Lord can do. Like he can do the work in somebody's life and it can change them forever. And I see that in you. Now, going forward, you've been commissioned to reach people, to love people, and to help rescue them out of addiction as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
It's beautiful, man.
Yep.
Beautiful.
We're gonna just rock with testimonies. I want
That's right.
people to see that this Jesus is tangible.
Yeah.
It's not a mythical thing. There is spiritual warfare going on, and if you're not aware of it, you're a fawn or a doe roaming through the forest with no protection. You are easy prey.
Yep. Absolutely.
So reach out to someone is the first thing I can encourage you to, that you haven't screwed over already, and someone that's got it together that you're laughing at, because I did it too. Oh, they're a joke. Look at their life. They're so perfect. I think I'd like to try that. Because this way it takes a lot of energy, resources, and time that you're wasting to go chase this thing. It's no good.
That's so good, man. Thank you for sharing that. Well, guys,
Yep.
Chad Hayden, thankful that he came on today. If you have any questions for Chad, you're on Facebook, right? You're under Chad
Yep.
Hayden on Facebook. I'll
Yep.
put your link in the show notes, actually, so if somebody wants to reach out to you or talk to you, that'll be available.
Lit Path Ministries. You
Lit
can
Path
link that.
Ministries, that's another one. Okay, that's the church. The services, you said you have services there, and they're Sunday nights?
Yep. Fifth one coming up Sunday. We got a great testimony coming up.
Okay, we'll put that in the show notes as well. Well, I'd like to know one more thing before you leave. What would be the commission for Chad Hayden today? What would you tell somebody if they're listening to this for the first time? What do you give them for good advice?
Don't be afraid. It's right here. It's not as difficult as this thing is making it seem. It is going to be painful, but it's short-term pain for long-term gain, and it happens really quick. He's right here. You just have to turn. He's just sitting there waiting. And he knows when you're gonna. So why not today? Why not? You want to we're halfway through another year. Do you want to get to January 1st carrying this thing into another year? I know that you don't. Lay it down, confess it to someone, get it out on the table and get it in the air so you can start getting some counsel on it, because you're wrecking the car. It's probably not even movable right now. There's no gas in it. There is
Yeah.
there is hope. There is hope, and it can be like that. Or I don't even care. Keep walking around the mountain. I don't know what your bottom is. We can go all night, Justin. It's different for
Sure.
everyone. How
Sure.
about thinking of the other people in your life that are putting up with your nonsense? How about stop being a selfish prick and
Yeah.
and go get on your
True.
knees and say you're sorry to these people?
You're definitely an inspiration to many, and you're definitely doing a work, and God's doing a work in you. So I appreciate you being on today. We'll tag you in the show notes. But guys, thank you for listening to the 600 Pounds Down podcast today. Chad, thank you so much for being here today. And guys, we'll catch you next time on the 600 Pounds Down podcast.